Welcome back into another episode of Indiebnb. Today, I'm joined by the ever creative Dave Lee.
Yeah, I'm
Dave,
here.
how are we?
I'm good, man. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Excited to chat with you. I mean,
Yeah.
the creator of the cardboard sessions, the creator of some instruments with cardboard. I mean, I gotta start with the material. I mean, what's up with paper? What do we love about
What
it?
are we working with? Well, this
Yeah,
story goes back, quite a few years. I think, a little bit of history is important. So,
sure.
many years ago, I mean, I have a snowboard company. I've had it for 20 years called Signal Snowboards. That's where we'll see the credit of Signal as a production company on these projects. And for like 10, 12, 13 years, we did this show called Every Third Thursday where we built kind of these crazy snowboards out of all sorts of materials. And we made the first snowboard out of glass. We made snowboards out of Legos. We also made snowboards out of cardboard, and that was the introduction to earnest packaging. And after that episode, we stayed very close, and we decided to kick up a series called Cardboard Chaos, which was the show that kind of took Every Third Thursday and played with cardboard. So we would just come up with
Yeah.
like, a product. We would came up with the first, we were like, let's make a surfboard. So we'd make a surfboard out of cardboard. We made a skateboard that Tony Hawk rode. And then we started getting into instruments. And that led us to our friend at Fender, master builder Paul Waller. And Paul was down to build a Fender Strat. And that the rest is kind of history. Like that thing took off, went mad viral on the internet, and also landed at NAMM that year. And this is like 10 years ago. And so, from there, like the cardboard company's happy, we're having fun, we're meeting people, and we just continue making stuff. So we ended up making a drum set. From there, like the drummer from STP, Stone Temple Pilots played that, and then we made a bass with Fender, made some other guitars, and, yeah, it was just like, we would basically it was just kind of a continuation of what we were doing in snowboarding, but with, like, cardboard and a different venue, an entirely different budget and group of people, but similar concept. And so then the pandemic hits, and we're all locked inside, and I started watching all these music like, all my favorite musicians playing these, playing these shows online. And I was like, "You know what? When this is over, let's, like, drag all those instruments out and just start our own, like, session, like, cardboard
Yeah.
sessions, and we'll just have them play these guitars and drums that are sitting in our storage unit, basically, collecting dust." And we have I'm a Gen Xer, so I'm like, I grew up on MTV, and I have history there, so I have a lot of friends that are musicians, and I just started calling them all. I'm like, "Hey, let's play, let's have you play these instruments." And that started with John Theodore from Queens of the Stone Age and Isaiah Mitchell from Earthless. They were the first session, 3 years ago, and since then, it's been, like, nonstop. Like, you know, we've had Jay Mascis from Dinosaur Jr., we've had Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top, we've had Keanu Reeves from Dogstar, and it's just sort of, like, keeps sort of moving on. We've had Marcus King, which, is almost a
Yeah.
million views, and, um, it's just fun. Like, it's honestly the whole idea behind it, and I know, like, kinda this is more like an innovation podcast, is really just bringing people together, building something interesting, and utilizing it. Like, the idea is like there are people who build things and they go on a shelf. Like, we build things and
Yeah.
we, like, basically hope to use it to failure. If that makes sense. Like, I'm happy if, like, we play these things until they don't play anymore, and that's kind of the concept. Like, maybe at some point, those things break and they're no longer usable and there's no more cardboard sessions, or we decide to make new instruments, which, it's a little bit of a insight into our next one, which is we did make an acoustic guitar that's coming out soon. So,
Wow.
we're like, we're having fun, we're being creative, we're bringing people together. That's what it's all about.
I love it. I love it. Well, a lot of follow-up there. I wanna kinda start in the back of the at the front there.
Yeah.
I think obviously the question, with snowboards, uh, which one was the most expensive to make? Which one, was the one that, like, you were surprised actually
Mm.
worked versus not worked? So give me a little. I wanna go we'll go snowboards,
Wow.
then I wanna come
I
back
mean,
to
those are
sessions.
good questions, and this was a long time ago. So, um, I don't know which one was most expensive. I know probably the most famous one is the glass snowboard. We traveled to Italy. We made the first snowboard, like no skis, no skateboards. This all like when people copied us over the years and have made like skateboards out of glass and stuff like that. But before this, like no one had ever thought to make a snowboard out of glass or a skateboard out of glass. And we ended up getting that idea from an old friend of mine in Italy who had connections with glass makers and basically the factory that makes all of the tempered glass for Bugatti and Lamborghini. And
Wow.
so we were like, "Oh hell yeah, let's go over there and do that." Again, these were similar to like cardboard world is just if I have an opportunity to pull some budget or pull some resources together to get a bunch of friends together to go make something, I'm all in. So
Yeah.
like a lot of times we'll throw ideas out there and people are like, yeah, we can make that happen, or give me a minute, or that's impossible, we can't do it. But as soon as someone says it's a go, we're usually there and ready to go. So that one was probably one of the most famous ones. I mean, we've had some others. We made a board out of recycled skateboards with the legendary skateboard builder Paul Schmidt. In our industry, coming from skateboarding, the dude's a legend. Like he's
Yeah.
made skateboards for everybody. So we took all these old skateboards, broke them down, and made them into a new snowboard. We did a snowboard with Jack Daniels, where we went to the Jack Daniels plant, got the full tour, and then took their whiskey barrels home, broke them down, made it into all the whiskey barrel is a snowboard basically at the end of it. And so,
Wow.
yeah, that's sort of that's the history of us and just like finding ways to take things and build them into more interesting things, I guess, and bring people together. And so that inspired Earnest Packaging CEO Tim Wilson. That got Mike Martinez, the sort of packaging specialist there on board, which is so awesome. I mean, think about that. Like you're working in cardboard every day trying to solve, maybe an issue of shipping eggs and having them not break, or shipping something and having it not, fail. And all of a sudden, we come in and we're like, hey, we want to make like surfboards and skateboards and snowboards and,
Yeah.
and guitars. And so it just completely changed the culture at Earnest Packaging, this cardboard company in California. They opened up, they opened up the opportunity for us to build more things and work with different people, and it's just been an absolute like blast.
Yeah. I love that. Well, like, obviously, the action sports kinda angle, like, action sports and music kinda similar, always are crossing paths, it
Mm.
seems like, and so, like, for you, whenever obviously have built relationships with some musicians over the past, is that from the snowboarding background that you
Yeah,
kinda had? And, like,
yeah. Yeah,
tell
for
me a little
sure.
bit more
I
about
mean,
that.
I grew up in Seattle in the '90s, so I grew up in the grunge era. I was a professional athlete. I was professional snowboarder in like the mid '90s. Um, we did events that were sports and music festivals. So I met a lot of bands. A lot of friends of mine play in like really well known bands. So it's just yeah, it's kind of growing up in that era, like being lucky enough to be a part of it and be integrated. I also have like, Mark Waringa, who's my co-founder at Signal. He's got a lot of great connections, and if I'm ever short on one, he's pulling up the slack, and he's got good friends, and he was basically very tight with the um like uh the Lincoln Park crew. I was like trying to think like who am I talking about? So like he was very tight with Chester back in the day, and Chester was the one that sort of grabbed the cardboard guitar in its infancy and was like, look how fucking sick this thing is, and
Yeah.
that helped it kind of move across the internet. So yeah, it's just good connections over many years. You're right, skateboarding, snowboarding, music, it goes hand in hand. We're just very lucky
Yeah.
to be in the
I mean,
space.
for you, like, whenever we get to the when you first hand that to somebody, like, are you nervous? Like, you're like, "Alright,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
this
Yeah.
he could break this thing
Yep.
immediately by just ripping it too hard." Like, who made you most nervous whenever you handed him the guitar for the first
Yeah,
time?
my friend Jordan Cook, who that's his real name, but he goes by Rainwolf, and he did a
Sure.
session in the first year with Brad Wilk from Rage Against the Machine, and Jordan is just an absolute beast on guitar, like, yeah, I mean, the dude basically is just, like, another level guitar player.
He's a machine. He's a
Yeah, yeah,
machine.
and so when I gave it to him, we're friends, and then I know how good he is, but I also know that he kinda goes to another world when he plays guitar, like, he you sorta if you've ever been to one of Rain Wolf's shows or you know him, like, if you ask him about something later, like, he has to kinda think about like, he kinda goes to another place, so he sorta gets transported, and I thought, "I'm gonna hand him this guitar, and he's just gonna break it, like, and he won't even know it, and he'll still be able to play it broken because he's that good, so we'll be fine," but, um, he definitely if you watch him play that thing, it's absolutely bonkers, like, and it was one take, they were both very busy, so, a lot of times we're able to go in there and we have a couple hours and we can kind of get, things to like if you're not happy with the first take, we can take a second take. He's just like one take and done. Like that is the most pure session we have probably on the in the series just because it really is him and Brad just sitting, picking up the guitar, sitting at the drums, playing once and then being done. Uh and that was to be honest, like, I love this moment to be able to just kinda say, like, that was the whole idea and concept behind Cardboard Sessions, which is, like, that spark, when you get to see people at their best. Because sometimes when we go to most times when we go to a show or we see people, even these athletes that we love, in a game, it's like it's just hours and hours of practice and they're like it's those moments where they're caught off guard that you love and they just come through,
Mhm.
like we just all watched the World Series. Like, it was insane. But like to be able to see the musicians sort of create new music or have these moments between them that are maybe unexpected. That was the whole goal with this set with Cardboard Sessions and to use the cardboard, instruments as the sort of the magnet to bring everybody in. I guess
Yeah.
that's the goal. But yeah, I hope some people see that in those sessions and, and sort of what we're building.
Yeah. And, I noticed whenever I watched, the making of the guitar, like, I guess it's not all 100 like, the strings aren't cardboard, right?
Right.
The whole
Yeah.
entire like, there are parts of people so just so people who are listening, they can kinda picture
Yeah.
it's not everything is cardboard. However, the part that is probably the most important that has to have the most integrity,
Yeah.
the neck and obviously the, bass part of it is indeed, made of cardboard. So, like,
Yeah.
how nervous do you get, I guess, people smoking cigarettes around around the cardboard. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
like,
Or
you
just
might have got some
you know,
flammability, you know?
whatever, just like spilling something on them, have a
Yeah,
glass of water near it. I mean, they are, like you said, they are, the bodies, the necks are all cardboard. There are truss rods in the necks that hold it into place, but that doesn't mean that they don't have more, variability because it is cardboard at the end of the day. It's not, solid wood. The drums are all cardboard minus the hardware you see on them to hold the skins on, but those are fully 100% cardboard shells. There's no wood in them at all. So there was a time when we went to New Orleans in the first year, and we had Stanton Moore, who's a pretty famous drummer, kind of get into it and stand on the kick drum ring and just break it, because it's just cardboard. So he just stepped right through it. That was the good part was it was just the ring that kind of holds the actual the drum skin onto the kick drum, but when we were able to just make another one. But if you would have broke the actual cylinder, like it would have been a whole thing, and we
yeah,
do have a backup kit, but it's yeah, these things are super fragile. They're basically one of ones, and we do have a couple of extra things if something happens, but we try to protect them at all costs because, like I
yeah,
said, that's part of this. Like, there's an impermanence to all of this. Like, at some point, we might just be done because we ran out of, instruments, or it goes a different direction. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, what's, I guess, looking ahead to that, like, who do you want the last person to play the guitar
Oh,
to be?
Jesus, dude, that's such a good question. Um, I had a moment, I gotta be honest, like I had this conversation the other day. So we had this dude, this rocker, this legend, Terry Reid, play our guitar maybe last year. And his story, he just passed away. His story is he was asked to be in Led Zeppelin from Jimmy Page, and he turned it down. And he said, "Why don't you hire my friend Robert Plant?" And so Robert Plant steps in, joins the band, and it becomes Led Zeppelin, right? And so he's kind of notoriously like if you Google him, if you could Google Terry Reid, you'll see like kind of the man that missed the big opportunity. Well, he came in and he had this idea. Like he was in all these amazing bands. Like there's plenty of awesome videos of Terry in the '70s just playing epic, like, you know, jazz festivals and like rock, old '70s like rock stuff where you're just like, dude, he's just insane. But he came in, he had this idea to do this sort of crooner song that he had. He hadn't been in the studio in 10 years. And he has this crazy backstory and everybody knows it. And it just was kind of like a magical moment where I thought, after this, once it was all complete, and you guys can all go watch that one on the internet on YouTube. But I was like, man, if we never do another one again, this was the goal, right? Like you grab
Wow.
somebody who's a legend, you get them out of their comfort zone, or you get them back into the studio after a decade or more, and you give them a chance to go play something, record something that just, brings themselves, like he was in tears over it because he just hadn't been able to experience that in so long. And so that was like I feel really good about where we're at. But like who would I want to play the last session? Holy shit. That's like, man, there's so many people. Like any, you know, damn. Like I need to like think on that and have a real
Yeah.
answer for you because um I tend to like live in like, you know, anywhere from like legends to 90s epic guitar players to like even current um guitar players. Wow. And drummers. Like, man, I almost
Yeah.
like fantasy football or something. I need to put like my fantasy
Yeah.
team together
Yeah,
of and have a better
you get the
answer.
the draft. You can kinda go
Yeah,
through and be
like
like, "You know what?
I
I
need
want
you. I hope.
Primus's guy on the bass," like,
Right, yeah, you like get Les Claypool to play with, uh, fuck, I don't know, like, Kim Thale from Soundgarden or, and yeah. I mean, dude, there's so many people. That's a really great question. I need a better answer. I'm sorry I don't have it. There's
Hey, all
just
good,
I
all
feel
good.
like I'd be leaving too many people out. Um
Yeah.
But I do think, like, having Billy Gibbons, come in who was like, and I'm kinda Gen X, so that was somebody, like, I really shared, with like, I was a musician, like, I shared with my dad, like, growing up and stuff, like, that was pretty cool. Like, to have Billy Gibbons come in and just be all about it and into it. Um, yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, as you guys are, how long does it take to create one of these sessions? Like, obviously a lot of work going in, flying people in. Do y'all have one space you do them in, or do you do them in multiple
Yeah.
spaces? Like, what's that look?
Yeah, that's we kind of we love that we're a little bit flexible. We pick studios based on where the artists are usually, and then sometimes we'll come up with a plan like to come to New York or something, and we'll try to book a couple of sessions and just, if we're going to be here, we'll be here for a week and I live here, so it's bringing everybody else out. But like when we went to New Orleans, we had a couple of players play. We always, one of the big um we'd love to go to Nashville and have like a bunch of people from Nashville play it, or play a session. Yeah, it's mostly LA. We like to mix up the studios. Sometimes it's, we ask the artist like, you're here in LA, where would you like to play? And they have like a dream studio they've never been in, we try to facilitate that as well. I think that's kind of the magic of this too. It's like you just don't know where we're going to end up. We might end up in Sunset Sound. We might end up in Gold Diggers. We might end up in somebody's, studio, in somebody's house. Just we can go anywhere. We're pretty flexible.
That's awesome. And then kinda getting back, you mentioned a couple things, about action sports. I'm, a kid who grew up 90, born in '94, so,
Yeah.
like,
Say,
mid-2000s, like, X
yeah.
Games, man, like, off the beaten path here, but,
Mm,
like,
mm,
do you see, how do you love how much do you love the progression of the sport of snowboarding? I mean, like, from, where it's, where you were into,
mhm.
where it is now, like
Yeah. I mean, I'm absolutely seeing like this huge progression happening in the last like 4 years. There's sort of waves. You see it come and go. Like same with skateboarding. Like skateboarding's going through an incredible amount of evolution right now, just because you don't know if it's coming from video games or just like people, starting off. Like I always say, like every new generation of skater or snowboarder or any athlete starts where the last one left off. So like whatever we did when we were younger, like the new crop coming in was like taking it from
yeah,
there and moving forward. And you know, to see some of these guys snowboarding and taking tricks that, I mean, they weren't even we didn't even think, like, we weren't even thinking about these tricks back when I was a
yeah.
pro athlete. Like, we're like, there's I saw something come out the other day, I can't even remember, but, my family was laughing at me because I had a calculator out because it was like, I couldn't figure out how many rotations it was just so many. It was like, I was like, "Wait a minute," like, I know what, a 2260 might be, but, like, how many rotations is that? And I had to, like, break it down because I can picture doing, like, a 900 or whatever, but, like, yeah, it's gotten to a place where it's just incredible to see these young athletes just take it to another world, and, yeah. In some ways, I'm curious what you think, like, as somebody who grew up with these action sports, I sometimes think, like, new people getting into the sport must feel like it's so unattainable to think about doing anything like what they're doing in the park or on a snowboard or on a skateboard, that where do you even begin? Like, I don't know.
Well, Dave, I wouldn't have dreamed it. My brother bet me $100 that I couldn't do a kickflip 6 years ago in 1 year, and I paid him that $100 with regret. But
Oh, dude, really?
I look,
Did
I'm
you even
200.
try?
I'm of
Okay.
course. I watched the videos. I got the little like savers on the like the little things
Yeah.
that kept the skateboard from going anywhere.
Damn.
Yeah, it's just look,
That's a great
yeah, I played
bet, by the way.
football, so, like,
Yeah.
the ankles are bad,
Yeah, yeah.
and that's like, I think that, that kinda thing, training your ankles to flick like this,
Yeah.
like, it's just something that, had I not played,
Yeah.
many years of football, I would have been able to do maybe, but, like,
That's
it's funny, like, I think about that sport versus there's not really a ton of progression,
mm,
in that sport. It's like, yeah, we can make people bigger, faster, stronger, but, like, we haven't come forward since the forward pass. Like you have a
yeah.
double cork 1260 or the 1440, and it's like they're figuring out new ways to spin somehow. And then
Yeah.
like I think the fact that we have X Games and like the slow mo camera has made
Yeah.
it like so much more incredible because it's like you see it in real time. You're like, wow, that looked awesome. But then you watch it again, and it's like, here's how high they are. Here's how high. Like here's how many rotations. All that stuff. Like
Yeah.
and it's
It's
something that just, like, is blowing my mind.
it is wild. It's really incredible to watch. We have, one of our athletes, well, a couple of our athletes in Signal. One of them won the silver medal in 2018 in slopestyle, Kyle Mack, and then we have a rider right now going to the Olympics in February for pipe, Levko. And so, yeah, man, these guys are nuts. Like it's really fun to see people reach that level, and kind of be able to spectate, especially as somebody who came from a professional like it's funny because when I was a professional snowboarder, like these tricks were not invented yet, but like at the same time, the tricks that we were learning and inventing felt as as far off as some of the tricks that they're inventing now. So it's a very interesting space for me to sit in and watch, and it feels really good to just like kind of cheer on the sport, and probably for you too, as like somebody who played ball, and like just seeing like the new crop of people come in and get excited about it and take it and do their thing.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
100%. Well, do you think you'll ever be, are you the best cardboard snowboarder in the world, do you
Well,
think? Still?
man, I didn't even ride that cardboard. I just cheered everybody on that was riding it.
Yeah.
I probably, I'm probably a little too aggressive to ride cardboard, to be honest, but like
Yeah.
snowboarding. Uh
Yeah.
but I think that we could build, the whole idea behind a cardboard snowboard, honestly, was like for the traveler. If I really want to take you all
Sure.
the way back, like I thought, what if we could make the one like sort of board where it wasn't like you were gonna have like this crazy day in Colorado or something where you took 30 laps. It was more like, hey, it just snowed. We're on this thing. I have this like just this recyclable, this snowboard thing that we can recycle at the end of the day. Let's go take a couple of laps on it, throw it in the recycling bin, and move on. Like, that was kinda the
Yeah.
idea, like, what if, like, you could just buy, like, you go to when it snows here in New York, you go to a bodega and there's $15 sleds everywhere or $30 sleds everywhere. What if you could
Yeah.
just grab a cardboard snowboard for 25 bucks? It'd be fun. That was kinda the idea.
Love that.
So, maybe, like, I could be that guy that makes the
The
recycled snowboard for you.
the recyclable. How much is that company, like, obviously, you've brought some innovation to them,
Mm.
like, were you shocked at how, like, really versatile cardboard was? I mean,
Yeah.
like, I would've been
Yeah.
blown, like,
Yeah.
I don't know, I see boxes get wet all the time, they
Yeah.
can't do this, now we're riding them on snow, like,
Yeah, yeah, it
you know?
was. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
also always a little bit blown that we're just like we just keep continuing to make things, and people come forward and they want to make stuff with us. And there's a lot of ideas out there. Like we just did the cardboard classic slip on with Vans last year, and we flew all the way to Vietnam and we made these like the shoes that you see every kid wearing at school out of cardboard. you know and so it's just like there are these moments where there isn't an idea on the table. I mean, there's always something, but then something totally wild comes out of left field and you're like, yeah, let's make a cardboard shoe with Vans. Sweet, let's go. And we just we all rally and we make the shoe. We get a bunch of legendary pro skaters to skate it, and that's a fun piece of content. It brought everybody together. It kind of something I always say is like, if you can innovate with cardboard, you can innovate with anything. And so it's just a jumping off point for people to think about, maybe like, whatever you're working on, just play with it. Like, just, that might not be the thing that you end up in ultimately building as like the production model or the business or whatever, but play with whatever materials you have around you because they do work, and if you're thinking differently and you're moving, these ideas around to good people. So, I don't know. I think that's kind of a
I
nice
love
little
that.
takeaway.
I love that. I love that. Well, we'll roll right into that to the kind of what we're gonna wrap up here
Okay.
with the Pete Peterson party pack of questions. These are just some main this or that's we put everybody through just to kind of gauge their temperature on what they think about food and
Ooh,
some different things. So here
okay.
we go. All right, Pete Peterson's party pack of questions. Dave Lee, cake or pie?
Pie, always. Yeah.
He's pieing it up. All right, salad or soup?
Salad.
Salad it up. All right, sunrise or sunset? What are you seeing more of these days?
Oh, man. Wow. I'm, seeing more sunrises these days.
Love it.
That's
I love it.
I think the benefit of getting a little bit older, you stay out, you go to bed a little bit earlier, you get up a little bit earlier.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right, would you rather hit a home run or score a touchdown?
Mm. I think I'd rather hit a home run.
Yeah.
I feel
Everyone's reeling from that World Series, I
Yeah, I
feel
think
like,
yeah, you asked it at the right time. I got some World Series fever right now.
Love it. All right. Night in or night out, what are you having more of these days?
Night in or night out? Definitely. These days, it's a night in for sure.
Yeah. Alright, when you do go out and, hey, like, your jam comes on,
Mhm.
are you more likely to hit the robot or the worm?
Oh, that's an amazing question. Uh, these days, like, if I'm out, I'll throw a robot, like, I'm not getting on the ground.
Alright, no more ground talk, I like
Yeah.
it, alright. Guac or queso, your favorite Tex-Mex
Oh,
spot?
fucking guac all day long.
Guacking it up, alright. Waffles or pancakes?
Waffles,
Alright, love that. Coffee or tea?
coffee every day, all day.
Alright. Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Alright.
Yeah.
Ninja or a pirate, what do you identify more with?
Oh, um, man, I'm kind of a I gotta say, like, I feel very much like a pirate ninja these days. Because there's just like we're breaking rules, but we are pretty stealth, the way that we move. So I don't know. I guess I'd go ninja, but there's definitely some pirate DNA happening.
You got some pirate in you,
Yeah.
I love it. Alright. Chips or pretzels?
Oh, chips.
And that includes soft pretzels, I want you to know that.
Damn it. I do like a soft pretzel, but I think if I had to like pick one, I think over time I would probably pretzel out where I feel like I could probably go pretty long with a chip.
That's true, that's true. Alright, fries or tots?
Oh, fries.
Alright. After a long day, is it a TV show or a movie?
Shit, dude, it's neither. Is I don't watch much uh TV or movie. It's usually music for me.
Music, okay. Are aliens real?
I mean, I'm not saying they're not.
Okay, alright. Bigfoot, is that real?
Uh I'm a Seattle kid where people have seen, there's a Bigfoot festival up in the Pacific Northwest. I've spent a lot of time in the outdoors up there, camping and everything. I'm not buying it.
Not buying it, okay. Is love at first sight real?
Yes.
And give me, a couple of, you mentioned some music you unwind to. Give me a couple bands that we ought to check out that maybe we know, maybe we don't know.
Oh, for unwinding, I mean, you know, you could throw on some classics like, Radiohead or Smile. Those are good. Um, Man, I'm in full like metal and punk mode right now. So if I'm like really looking at my playlist, I'm I'm in crazy world. Like I'm listening to Mastodon, Wizard Master, just scrolling through here. Viagra Boys, um, Idols. I love the Idols. I also
Yeah,
like hip hop too. Like I love all music, everything from jazz to hip hop to metal. But I'm just go through phases. Um,
yeah.
Still looking through here. Some Black Sabbath, always once a week at least. Um, I found this band the other day. I don't even know how to say it, but Vrael, Vraell. Sound It's a very nice way to unwind. Brian Eno, also very good way to unwind. Um, the new Buckingham Knicks, not bad. Not great, but not bad.
Oh, okay. That's good. That's good. Well, I appreciate you sharing those. I think that getting some idea of what the tunes are. Maybe maybe somewhere in those. There could be the next
Cardboard session,
cardboard
you never know.
session in this. You know.
Yeah, Lindsey
I
Buckingham,
like
let's
that.
go.
Let's get him. Let's get him out. Let's get him out. Well, Dave, I appreciate you taking the time, brother,
Thanks,
to
Grant.
hop on the show,
Yeah,
and
man.
looking forward to following up on the more cardboard sessions and seeing more of the content out that you guys got coming up, and seeing what you cardboard next or
All
what you cook
right.
up next, in the
Appreciate
in
it.
the ether here.
Appreciate it. Where
Yeah,
are you
man.
living? Where are you at?
Y- Yeah, I'm down here in Atlanta.
Oh, okay, cool. You're on the
So yeah,
is that the South?
it's the South.
Yeah, it's
Oh
the
yeah, we're
South.
the South.
All right, cool. What are
We
you
got the
listening
South.
to? What are you listening to right now?
Well, this is an indie, we're mainly we talk to independent artists, and, like, I keep that kind of brought wide, so I consider you an independent artist of a different variety, but we're mainly music. A girl I just interviewed, Zoe Bayani, or Bayani, I kept butchering her last name in the middle of it, it was terrible, but, she's awesome. I've listened to a lot of Atlanta bands, but, like, love Fred again, like, as far as, like, DJ stuff, and um, man, I would love, really big fan of Medium Build. He's a guy from Alaska. He's been on the show twice and he got signed. He's massive. Um, Perfect Animal, my
Cool.
boys here in Atlanta,
Yep.
and there's all kind of people.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna ask, what's your favorite, like, what's your, it doesn't have to be your favorite, but, like, in the top tier of all time Atlanta bands.
Well, Mastodon is an Atlanta band,
Yeah,
so they're
yeah,
awesome. RIP to I actually met their member who just passed
yeah,
away a couple times out and about, and
yeah.
like, man, I
That dude
tell
was
you
epic.
what, good
Yeah,
guy.
I
Yeah.
heard nothing but good things.
Yeah.
Um,
I would say, yeah, there's a lot of great bands from here.
yeah,
I'm hoping to find the next one.
yeah,
That's like kind of the part of this journey is like, getting people on and, giving them a little bit of pub,
I
and then
love that.
maybe, something happens, they catch fire.
That's cool,
Most
man.
notably, I had our girl, Chapel Roan, she has DM me back. She had DM me back in 2020 to get
What?
to get on the show,
Oh,
and,
that is
we
such a
couldn't make it
flex.
happen, but
I love it.
we couldn't make it happen, but that's the
Oh
that's the
my
most
god,
but most famous,
the
like,
one that got away.
most famous
The
miss.
one that
Yeah,
got away.
look, I'm not mad about it. I think it's awesome to be able to, that, "Hey,
That's
I
a
was
great
listening to her in
story.
2020,"
That's a
like,
great story.
getting the people going, but,
Awesome.
yeah. Well,
Cool,
cool.
man.
Well, thank you
Well,
so much,
yeah,
man.
man, thank
I
you. Keep
appreciate it.
doing what you're doing. I think it's awesome, and,
Yeah. Hey,
it's
if you wanna
spreading the
send
word.
anybody my way, if you hear anybody you like and, you feel like, they'd be good for this, let me know,
I'll let you
man.
know,
I'm
for
I'm down
sure.
to do it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Awesome, Dave.
Awesome,
Appreciate you,
man.
brother.
Alright, take care.